Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, I'll be playing my ARP Takao, not to be confused with the Atago, which has the same hull and abilities, etc. But this one is captained by an anime character, so I hope you don't mind with that. Anyway, the map is North, not to be confused with Northern Lights, which has the same layout, same islands, everything, just a little snowier. And the mode is for capture point domination. And I open up here by getting a few shells off at the Molotov, high explosive of course, because at the end of the day this is still a Japanese cruiser, and the high explosive is fantastic. So what else is special about the Atago, or Takao, whichever you want to call it? Well, it has around 40,000 health, which is on the low end for a cruiser at tier 8. The armament is 10 8-inch guns, and they fire Japanese ammunition, so of course high explosive is great, armor piercing is passable, I don't use it too often. It has 8 torpedoes on each side, so 16 total, but the firing angles, as you might notice later on, are not great. You have to show a fair amount of broadside to get the first 4 off, and then to get the last 4 on each side you have to be sailing away from your enemy. I am running hydroacoustic search instead of defensive AA, because the AA isn't that great to start off with, and you don't see carriers too often. In this battle, unfortunately, there are carriers, so in this case defensive AA might have been a good choice. I'm running a fighter plane as well, just for some self-defense, and the Atago gets a heal. It's one of the only tier 8 cruisers that gets a heal other than the Edinburgh. The British, of course, all get heals. The heal isn't as crazy as the Edinburgh, and shots off at the Molotov. Didn't learn his lesson, sailing broadside onto the whole fleet. Anyway, I get to make use of the armor piercing, which actually lands a Citadel, so not a bad start. Already a kill up, 4 minutes in. And now I'm going into full-on HE spammer mode, with starting off with the Samagi. Now I did just see him shoot at the Bismarck to finish him off, so I know that his guns are reloading, so I figure it's safe to make this turn. And however, I am also playing with my speed, because, there we go, he manages to reload just in time, but I think I threw his aim off just enough. And all those shells missed, and he fires his last 3 turrets, and those are going to miss except for 1 overpen. So that's basically what you want to be doing in the Atago, and it's basically the identity of all Japanese cruisers. You want to be kiting away from battleships, spamming high explosive, making use of your torpedoes if you can. In this case there's a farragut between myself and Yamagi, so I don't want to risk getting him with torpedoes. But Yamagi already used his repair, so it's a good thing I've set another fire already. That's going to burn out for quite some time. And I'm working on getting my second one, struggling a little bit. And at this point, I think he's running fire prevention. You can see he only has 1 single fire in the center of his ship, instead of in the center and slightly in front or slightly behind. But anyway, the fire goes out. I think that's probably naturally, because his repair couldn't have gotten up in that short of a time span. But I'm going to continue firing off the high explosive because he's very low. If we can get rid of one of their battleships early on, then that would be great. Another reason I want to finish him off is because fire damage is dot damage, which means you can heal up 100% of it and earn yourself an easy dreadnought and a fireproof. So I want to really make sure the Samagi goes to the bottom before he's able to start healing up, because he'll be able to heal up a lot of that damage. You can see I've already broken 50,000 damage just spamming some HE. And the Yamagi fires a salvo, I instantly start turning, and I'm able to turn out from underneath it, and I dodge it. Now I already have my next target lined up. It's going to be this North Carolina. and I'm turning back, I'm turning to port, so I'm facing west. I'm going further into A, and I'm just gonna try and set a fire on this North Carolina. Now you can tell that he's a stock ship because he only has 53,700 health, as opposed to the normal 66,000 that you'd see with fully upgraded hull. I'm struggling to get some fires, and as you might have noticed, the turret traverse on the Atago is not bad at all. Turrets, even though I just had them switch completely, even more than 180 degrees, they're already back up and ready to go. Now, looking at the minimap, I see that there's a Mayhem who just smoked up in front of me, so I popped my hydroacoustic search, because I wouldn't want to be running into torpedoes, unlike what this Bismarck is about to do. I don't know if he was running hydro, or if that's my hydro that spotted those, but either way, that Bismarck is going to E3 and lose a fair amount of health. It's unfortunate. So with my hydroacoustic still active, I decided to keep pushing into the smokescreen. And you'll notice I actually got undetected very briefly there. And that's because the Atago's concealment is second in only to the New Orleans. Of course, I can't change the camo on this because it's the Arpeggio anime ship, and you're stuck with the bright blue neon camo, so you can't get the concealment and dispersion buffs. But it's still 9.4. Normal Atago can get something like 9.2 or 9.1, and the New Orleans also gets 9.1, which is very, very competitive. So I'm continuing to fire HE at this North Carolina, and I set a fire, and the Mayhem is spotted. I think it might be the Pensacola actually running hydroacoustic. I turn the guns. The gun reload is of course very long because they're 8-inch guns. But Mayhem goes down very, very quickly. And you might notice that there's a carrier flying enemy planes above me. And I only shot down 2 in that whole attack. That's because Japanese cruiser anti-air doesn't tend to be very strong at all as the North Carolina goes down, which is why I don't run defensive AA, because you're not going to be shredding planes like you would in a New Orleans or a similar cruiser like that. You're really going to struggle to do very much air battles, so I prefer hydroacoustic search so you can harass destroyers more easily. There's a Mayhem spotted, and he's harassing our Bismarck, and I want to finish him off for the Bismarck before he can get torpedoes and maybe even get the kill. And he only has 3,000 health, and I detonate him. Hit him right in the turret with one shell that incapacitated it. Yes, the second shell must have hit a magazine or something, and he explodes. So, third kill at 82,000 damage. Now we do have 2 enemy Bismarcks who are in a division, and they're pushing into B, and they're gonna be attacking this North Carolina that we have. You see those firing angles? Yeah, I fired my rear 4 torpedoes, and that was the only 4 torpedoes I could fire in that direction because of the angle. So, not the best. The torpedoes are very good though. They are Japanese, so they do a fair amount of damage, and they go out 10 kilometers, which is not too bad either. So I start harassing these Bismarcks. Of course, want to set some fires because they're fairly full health, and fires are pretty much the fastest way to do damage to a full health target, other than maybe spamming armor piercing, but at this range I feel like high explosive will do the most damage. You'll see me switching to my torpedoes, and there we go. I'm not actually targeting that Bismarck. I'm targeting the closer Bismarck. I'm trying to see which direction he's going, so I can ambush him around the side of the island. It's just a replay bug. Replay system has a tough time keeping up with when you manually switch targets. It really doesn't know what you're doing, so, you know. And I think that Bismarck, who's 4 kilometers away, that I'm chasing down, just beached himself. So I decide I'm going to go to port. I'm going to go around this side of the island and surprise him with torpedoes. I am plane spotted, however, so the surprise is going to be ruined somewhat. But I don't think there's very much you can do at this point. And you're about to see why you can only do this to a battleship, bad dispersion, and not something like a North Carolina. So, crossing right in front of them, launch torpedoes, even try and get a shot off with the guns, but the island. And I'm traveling too fast to stop and stay hidden behind this island. So I have to rush out and hope I can turn enough before he gets a shot off. And nope, it's fine. One overpen. No big deal. And I finish him off with fire. There's my 4th kill. And a second set of torpedoes on that side is reloaded. Fire them off at the Nagato. He is out of torpedo range, but he's sailing towards me, so hopefully I can finish him off. Or at least land one, maybe. And now I have to protect our Ranger from this Cleveland. Cleveland did just finish off a friendly ship that we had there. Not sure exactly which one it was, I forget. But if the Cleveland finishes off our Ranger, we're going to be at a severe disadvantage. Well, we already are at a disadvantage. Our team is down by 400 points. And there isn't that much time left in the battle, so if we want to make a comeback, we have to make it quick. So, start focusing down this Cleveland with high explosive, of course. Armor piercing wouldn't have that great an effect at this range. It's not the American armor piercing that has insane penetration at angles. Nagato is shooting at me. I do have priority target, so I can tell that one person's shooting at me. It's not the Cleveland, that's for sure. He's shooting at the Ranger. So it's Nagato, so I stay angled. And we're about to finish capping B, which is good for our team because we really need the points at this point. And what our Pensacola in the cap really should be doing is just sitting behind an island and using the floaty American arcs to lob high explosive at the Nagato and maybe finish him off. But he's not going to do that. He's going to pop out into the open, get reset so he doesn't get the cap, and we unfortunately lose the Ranger to the Cleveland. But I'm about to finish the Cleveland off. So the Pensacola drives out into the open, tries to 1v1 a Nagato while he's on perilously low health. Can you imagine how that's going to go for him? Oh, there's my Kraken at least. However, yep, I am the last player on my team. Well, might as well just finish off this Nagato, but at this point, our chances of winning aren't looking good. I can't chase down a Ranger with this much time remaining because all he has to do is run away, and his team will finish to 0 points. Nagato is firing back at me, but I turn just like the other battleships, and take a hit from the carrier with dive bombers. Good. Actually knocks out one of my turrets temporarily, and that squadron knocks out my other turret. Now, you'll notice I'm using my heal, which deals a little bit of damage, only a few thousand, not crazy amounts like the Edinburgh would. And this Nagato is about to burn to death. But is it going to be enough? Well, at this point I have a choice on where I want to go. I can capture B, but that doesn't do very much because the enemy team is still gaining points. So I decide I'm going to sprint my way over to C and try and take that off the enemy hands so that they can stop generating points. There are only 4.5 minutes left though, so the odds of me managing to pull off a win here are getting smaller and smaller as time goes on. Of course, carrier's dead, so I have no idea where the enemy carrier is, except that he's far out east, because that's where his planes are coming from. So, full speed ahead into sea, and, well, the Atago speed isn't bad. It's one of the best, but in this case, it's probably not going to be fast enough. So I'll speed things up here because it's just me sailing in a straight line towards sea. This is, of course, one of the few times you can afford to sail in a straight line, because there are no destroyers or battleships around. Now the enemy bombers did just head back to the carrier, and here they are again. And I'm gonna have to dodge and weave a bit if I want to avoid damage. First drop comes in and I completely avoid it. The second drop is coming in. I'm gonna turn, show him my side, and luckily I dodge all those bombs too. Now I have to just cap C. It's gonna slow me down for a minute because it takes the same amount of time to cap a point. And hey, I bagged myself another plane kill. Now I'm just going to sail across the point, and I'll speed this up as well because nothing really happens except shooting down one of the fighters. He was hovering around me. I pop my fighter plane just to try and see where that ranger is, but his fighters intercept and my fighter is dead. So I don't know where he is. I got a quick view, but at this point, 50 seconds left in the game. It's not going to be enough to finish him off. I switch to armor piercing just in case he's showing his side, and I can get a few lucky citadels, because high explosive definitely can't finish him off, but armor piercing might. And unfortunately, he's completely angled, running away. I'm not going to be able to do very much of anything here. I score 3,000 damage with the first salvo. Pop my heal again, because I've taken a little bit of damage. And I'm only going to have time for this salvo here. The second squad of dive almost comes in fire. I land 3,700 damage and my high caliber, but he's going to run away. And that's going to be the end of this battle. Well, that's very unfortunate, but taking a look at the post-game stats, you can see I earned myself a cool 350,000 credits, just short of 1,800 experience, and some free experience. I also earned Confederate, Kraken Unleashed, High Caliber, as well as First Blood. I did 160,000 damage with a variety of armaments, with high explosive, armor piercing, torpedoes even my secondaries got some damage in. Of course, 6 kills, and 1 base fully captured, and 1 base where I assisted in capturing. Moving on now to the team score. You can see that I topped my team, and I actually got just a little over double the next person on my team. And also, I was only topped by 1 person on the enemy team, which just goes to show how much of a carry this pretty much was. Now on to the detailed report, and you'll see that I damaged mostly battleships, but also some cruisers and destroyers here and there. I got 31,500 fire damage, like 20,000 torpedo damage. My secondaries did some work, but most of the damage was that high explosive. I shot down a few airplanes as the ranger was trying to bomb me. I also took 1.5 million potential damage, which would be a good result in a battleship, so it's even better to get it in a cruiser simply by dodging and weaving around. Of course, I did receive some damage, but luckily I was able to heal some of that up thanks to my heal. Now finally, the credits and experience. I'm not running any experience flags, so my total XP is the same as my commander XP, 1,800. And even though I'm not running premium, I managed to pull off a profit of 250,000 credits. So that concludes my commentary on this Atago. It's a ship that I really enjoy. I would recommend it. You can't earn this one anymore, but the Atago is pretty much the same thing if you want to go get that. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then be sure to hit the like button before you leave. If you have any feedback or comments, then type those in the comments section. I do read those. And if you want to see a new video every 2 weeks with World Warships, then hit the subscribe button and you won't miss any more videos. And I'm planning on starting up a new series next Friday, so you won't want to miss that either. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.